The Boston Red Sox in 2023 did not have the year many were hoping for. They went 78 and 84 and finished last place in the AL East for a second consecutive year. Heading into 2024, actually, the Red Sox do have a very young core, but at the same time, there has not been many moves that have been made to excite Red Sox fans. So what's the vibes going into 2024? They're not good, but Joey and I are here going to discuss the Red Sox and what to look out for in 2024, so let's not waste any time. My name's Derek. I'm here with Joey. You're watching Bleacher, Brawls, and this is your Boston Red Sox 2024 team profile. First things first, we're going to talk about some key players for this Red Sox team. Obviously, like I said, there's a lot of young players, a couple veterans too, but it's a team that does have some exciting talent on it. So I'll hand it over to Joey first. Who are three key players for this Red Sox team, and out of the three, who's one that you would like to kind of expand on as someone who's going to be important for them in 2024?
So the key players I think for this year are Tristan Casas, Brian Bayo, and Rafael Devers. Devers, I'm going to highlight him because, last year he won the Silver Slugger. He had a good season, but I think a lot of Red Sox fans are waiting for Devers' MVP season. He just hasn't been quite at that caliber yet. He's recently signed a $300 million extension. He got worse at third base last year. A lot of Red Sox fans are looking for him to get better at third base, really stay to the position. We're going to try to figure out now whether Devers is a long-term third base option or not. And hopefully for Devers to be less streaky over the season. I think for him to come out of the gate strong would be great for this team. Last year he had a very weak first couple months. He didn't really pick it up till around the All-Star break, where he really started kicking it up. Also, as a leadership role, Devers is the only person left from the 2018 team now. He's, whether you like it or not, he's a 27-year-old veteran. He's hitting his prime, and he has the highest contract. So we need to see leadership capabilities from him too. So I would say Devers is the main thing I'm looking for, although I think the team's going to be looking for a lot, but Devers is there.
Yeah, definitely. I think Devers is obviously a big part of this team. And like you said, he's the only guy left from 2018. For me, some of their important players, I'll name a couple other guys, like Masataka Yoshida. I do think Bayo's going to be huge for the pitching staff as well, but I want to focus on Trevor Story, and there's a couple reasons. It's not just the fact that he's got the big contract, he's been injured, that's part of it. But at the same time, when you look at the team and you look at the Red Sox, it is a very left-handed heavy lineup, and having Story be the big right-handed bat, he has to be a difference maker between the left-handed hitters in this lineup, because you have Jarren Duran, Devers, Casas, Yoshida. That's four of your five best hitters that are lefties. They need a right-handed bat to step up, and since they haven't really signed anyone that's going to be a big middle-of-the-order bat, it's got to be Trevor Story. And his defense last year when he played was elite, but the bat struggled a little bit. He'll be full healthy offseason for the first time in a Red Sox uniform. I think the hope is that he will maybe not be the old Trevor Story, but he'll be close to it at the very least, and will be one of the better players for the Red Sox in 2024. Moving on away from key players, we'll look at some of the offseason moves for the Red Sox. There wasn't a ton, but there was some on the field and off the field. We talked about it a couple weeks ago with our Red Sox offseason review. They did sign Lucas Giolito. They also traded for Tyler O'Neill. The Red Sox also traded Chris Sale for Vaughn Grissom. Those are their on-the-field moves. So, Joey, out of those moves, which one's biggest? Or if you don't want to take one of those moves, maybe you want to take the change in leadership in the front office or anything else. What move did the Red Sox made on or off the field this offseason do you think is the biggest?
I think what Red Sox fans wanted the biggest move to be was the change in the front office, but it doesn't seem like there's been much of a change in direction as people thought there would be. I think the biggest move of this season, I think you'll agree, is the Sale trade. You're dropping a starting pitcher who we badly needed, although the question was whether Sale would be able to perform for the Red Sox or not. That's still up in the air. Getting Vaughn Grissom, who has 5+ years of control, second baseman, right-hander, I think that's the biggest move, although Grissom, like you said earlier, not a power hitter, not a power threat in the lineup, never played a full season. So it's going to be tough for the Red Sox to be relying on him to be, a top 6 in the order, especially with Story, who, as you said earlier, it was basically dead at the plate. So yeah, that's the biggest move of this season.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, I do want to talk a little bit about the change in front office leadership from Hein Bloom to Craig Breslow. I talked about it in our Red Sox offseason review, but if you missed that or you're not a Red Sox fan, haven't watched that, I'll give you kind of the brief overview. Yes, there's not a ton of change in terms of philosophy, in terms of they're not going all in or anything. Um, but at the same time, there is a philosophy change in terms of development and player development, and especially on the pitching side of things. The Red Sox have struggled to develop starting pitchers for a long, long time. I think the last one really successful, you could argue, is like Lester. Maybe you want to argue Clay Buchholz, but outside of that, it's really like Bayo is now in the big leagues, but he's still young. We don't fully know he hasn't reached his potential yet. So I think getting the pitching development side of things right in the minor leagues, but also in the big leagues, bringing in Andrew Bailey, Justin Willard as the director of pitching, also bringing Kyle Bodie, who's the founder of Driveline, bringing him in as an advisor. I think all that should help on the pitching side. And also too, Breslow has said he wants to be aggressive with promotions in the minor league. So a little bit of a philosophy change there. It's not the overarching, like they're not going all in or anything. They're still, want to be a sustainable winner. They want to build from the minor leagues. Same like idea from Hein Bloom, but the philosophy in terms of player development, especially on the pitching side, is going to be different. So I'm excited to see how that all shakes out. Last but not least, we'll talk about the expectations for the Red Sox team. Not necessarily what we think, but what we believe that the team thinks the expectations are or should be. So I'll hand it over to Joey. What do you think the expectations are for the Red Sox in 2024?
I think a 500 season. That's what I think they're shooting for. The Red Sox are not going to be a playoff team, and if they are, it's going to be very peripheral, a bubble team. Red Sox are going to be. My guess would be fourth or fifth in the AL East at the end of this season.
Yeah, it's tough because like the AL East is such a tough division. I think like the Red Sox might end up with like the hardest schedule in baseball just because they have to play the AL East. And even with the balanced schedule, it still affects your schedule somewhat compared to teams in like the AL Central or NL Central. I will say this though, I think the in-house expectation is going to be to make the playoffs. Whether they meet that expectation is a different story. But I think also too they're going to be. I think overall they're going to look to be competitive while pushing for the playoffs with kind of that young core that they have of your Casas, Duran. Although Duran's older than Devers, so like how young is it really? Bayo, et cetera, et cetera. I can go down the list, but with the kind of guys they have, they're going to look to be competitive. Will they make the playoffs? That's to be known, but I think that's unknown. But I think that will be the expectation. But I think that's a good place to wrap it up on expectations. So make sure to check out all our other team profiles that we've done. We're getting towards the middle of the pack here, around the 12 range, I think, for the team profiles. So I got about 18 more to go. We're going to keep cranking them out pretty much every day. So make sure to check out all our other links in the description. Red Sox fans, let us know your thoughts in the comments. And for Joey, my name is Derek. Thanks for tuning in to Bleacher Brawls, and we will see you next time.